Hello again, this is Mr. B, and this is part 3 of flow charting. And in the first two parts we talked about straight through flowcharts where you don't have to make any decisions, no loops or anything, which was fairly simple and trivial. Then we made it more complicated with the example of adding condiments to a sandwich and asking the user if they wanted lettuce or not, or if they wanted olives or not, and so on. And we use diamonds to denote a potential divergence in the path that we were going to take, a fork in the road, if you will. But I also mentioned that we can do loops, so we can do the same, can have the program go through the same instructions a certain number of times, or as long as we need it to do that. So I'm going to give you an example of that. Also using the adding the condiments loop. And part of the I don't know if you thought about it or not, but sometimes people want to add condiments in different orders. Maybe they don't want their lettuce right next to the cheese. Maybe they want a layer of onions first. So at a fancier sandwich place, perhaps not Subway, you can actually ask them to add condiments in any order you choose. So the question would not be, would you want lettuce? The question would be, what is the next condiment you want to add? So let's go through that example. So we're going to ask the user to choose condiment. Okay? And we're going to have, we're just going to have a simple three-choice thing here. Don't want to get too complicated here. So, condiment. We're going to have three choices. Lettuce, olives, or none. Okay? So the first time that we go through this, the sandwich maker asks, what condiments would you like? And the person says, the first choice they make will say, is lettuce. Okay? So what do? We add lettuce. And what happens after we add lettuce? We're going to ask them again, would you like another condiment? So we're going to actually go back in the flow, back to a previous step. You see how the arrows form a loop? That's why this is called a loop. Makes sense? We ask again, and say, do you want olives? I mean, say, my next condiment is olives. So let's have another choice here, olives. What do we do after we have made that choice? We go back and we ask the user again, do you want a condiment? We finally say, oh, we'll say other. Okay. We can make more, we can do more choices now. Onion. Onions. One of my favorites, by the way. And what do? We go back and ask again. Choose a condiment. How about tomato? And finally we'll say, they finally say no more. We'll say none. Okay? So then we move on to the next step in building their sandwich. You know, they'll ask for vinegar, salt, that kind of stuff. So now the cool thing about this, a benefit to doing it this way versus doing it the other way, where you ask, do you want lettuce? Yes or no. Do you want onions? Yes or no. Do you want olives? Yes or no. Is now you can build the sandwich in any order. So somebody comes along, they ask, you know, choose your condiment. We'll say, my choice is onions. Okay, is it lettuce? No. Is it olives? No. Is it other? Yeah, it's other. Okay, so we're going this way. Is it tomato? No. Is it onions? Yes. Add onions. Go back up. I want lettuce now. Okay. Go through here. Is it lettuce? Yes. Add lettuce. I want tomato. Okay, go through here. Oh, tomato. Okay, now we're adding tomato. And then I'm done. So we go down here. No, it's other. Not onions, not tomato. None. Oh, okay, so we're moving on. Beyond that. When you leave the loop, that's called breaking the loop. Okay, or you're done with that loop. Okay. You'll find out when you're writing your program, if you do something wrong, you never leave this loop. You just ask the user over and over and over. And that can be a problem. And eventually Windows will actually complain that you're in an infinite loop, it will say. Or it'll simply stop responding. I'm sure you've run situations where your program ceases to respond. You can't click on any of the buttons or anything. It's probably because it's either thinking really hard about something, or waiting for something, or it's in an infinite loop somewhere, which can be interesting to get out of, but not impossible.